In this video, traders, I want to talk about what will the retail trading industry look like in the future. Stick around for my take on this. Hey guys, well, welcome to you. Alright, so this is my opinion, and obviously comment section is always open for your opinion on this. I'm super interested to hear what you think about this. So where is the retail trading industry going? Because if you go back, let's say 10 years, it was obvious that things just had to get cheaper for traders. It was super wide spreads. Commissions were high if you were trading. The technology wasn't that great. It was obvious where the path was going. And we're now at a position where spreads are super narrow. For all the major instruments, it's almost free to trade. And in fact, we have loads of platforms out there that offer you free commission-free trading. And the spread, if you trade SPY and Q and whatever other thing, is so minimal anyway that it's almost free to trade, right? And that's where we're going and where we are now. So that's pretty much the race to the bottom has ended. Everyone now is trying to attract your broker money with different things. So technology came into play, and we've got these great platforms. Most of them are free or very cheap. Used to be you would pay £500, $600 a month just for a charting platform to get charting and feeds, because the barrier to entry was so high, the spreads were wide, it was a tricky environment, markets were different of course. Now we've got technology that's super good, you've got amazing software, you can backtest stuff, you can use all the indicators you want, and again, very cheap. So that race to the bottom's happened. I'm sure it's going to improve, and I'm looking forward to see what some of the great companies out there who have trading technology, where they take things. So the next thing is automation. We had this thing of, automation's coming in and it's going to wipe out the discretionary trader. Guess what? It hasn't, and it won't ever. I don't believe it will ever wipe out the discretionary trader. Why? Because human beings react with emotion. We don't always trade with logic. We don't always trade rational. We don't always have the same objective. You might be covering your short. I might be looking for a long-term investment. I might be looking for a short-term scalp. I might be covering that because I want to put the opportunity or the capital into something else that I think is better. I might be covering it because I'm in pain. There's so many reasons why people are trading at one point in time that I think it's almost impossible to have an efficient market. So this whole thing of algorithms are going to make things more efficient, don't buy it. Don't think it's true. Don't know if you agree with that, but I just don't think it's true. I think that it takes out, and people say, I've got to take out all the volatility. We're not seeing that. We've seen massive volatility, and that's because algorithms are coded by humans, and sometimes they're there to take advantage of the volatility. They're not just there to dampen down stuff and bring it back to a mean all the time. Sure, there's mean reversion trades, but sometimes they're doing this, sometimes they're doing that. And so, that hasn't happened. So we still have volatility, so that's good, right? Then the other question is everyone going to be trading with an algo? No. There's a section of people who want to code their own trading algorithms and trading bots, and that's absolutely fine. There's a section there of people who want to do that, and they want to operate in that area, and they do that. And there's always been that section, and the barrier to entry has become much lower. Now there's software out there you can access, and it's kind of a bit more easier to write things. I know if I'm getting a little script done, perhaps for TradingView, that's going to help me do something, I always pay a developer to do it and do it that way, because that's just how I operate things. But there's loads of tools out there that help you build these things. So maybe that barrier to entry will come down a little bit more, maybe more like click and drag and stuff. Even though there's tools out there, I just feel that that's not really taken over as much as people expected. If you're a discretionary trader, you might dabble in algos. You might say, hey, you know what? I quite like to have a little algo here, or maybe I've got a little bit of a tool that helps guide me here, and maybe you do a little bit in that and dabble in a little bit there, but ultimately you're still a discretionary trader. And so it hasn't taken over your desire to look at a market and to a chart and take a position based on what you think in there rather than the algo. So I'm sure that'll become easier. I'm sure there's a place for that, and I'm glad that's there because it's a nice thing to have. You can take some tech and bring it into discretionary element, become a bit of a hybrid trader, full auto if you want to, full discretionary. So that's great. So what's next? So where do we go from here? I think something interesting is going to happen. I think that we're going to be in a situation where technology is improving, internet speeds are improving. One thing we have seen recently is the advent of these virtual prop firms, right? And we know these companies, guys, I've done videos on this before, we know their business model is to take money from people who are doing the pass the test, or whatever they call it, different things call it different companies call it different things, and then they fund you. And we know that there's a small portion of traders get funded and they make money. And I've said before, I think these are a good idea. They sit between demo and live, and I think they're useful for certain people. Go and check that video out. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. So that's pretty new. And now we've always had this kind of community aspect, but we're seeing lots more niche communities form. We're seeing people who are more serious about trading and mindset stuff. We're seeing people who are interested in just stocks that are going crazy. We're seeing, so these sub-communities have kind of formed. Some are premium, some are free, this type of stuff. And so what happens is we have, I think what might happen, this is kind of me just guessing, I really don't know this. We might have a scenario where you have communities that leverage on each other's skills. So what I mean by this is, let's say you have a bunch of capital from a virtual prop firm, right? That's trying to find a home, that's trying to invest in a trader. You know, people do invest obviously in individual traders, but it's not as prolific. They've got the virtual firms, of course, and they pass that, but they take the risk out of that quite a bit for themselves, and they give you the first bit, and then you know how the structure works. I think they're going to get into a position where, let's say you're very good at getting the turn of the market. Okay, you're very good at doing that, but you're not very good at holding the trade through that first, second pullback. But then another guy in your community is very good at holding that trade. So I don't know how this is going to happen or anything. I've got no idea how this will work. But leveraging on this bond of community, but their strengths. And so saying, hey, you're very good at getting the entry. Once you've got the entry, that trade then gets automatically passed to this person who's very good at managing that trade or scaling in. And then once you've done that, that trade gets passed to them for the exit. Maybe not quite like that, but you get the idea. So it's this collective nature of community, this trust, and leveraging on other strengths. So rather than you trying to get over a hurdle, you say, you've already got over that hurdle, I've already got over this hurdle, let's team up. And the technology will allow that to be able to be split however it's split, whether it's a profit share, whether it's this, I don't know exactly how it works, but I feel that might be something that happens. More of an expansion of the community, more working together in this type of manner, and maybe attracting outside capital saying, hey, you know what, this is kind of a hybrid thing, this is how we operate, and then the capital comes in and supports that, and you've got these resources where you're linking up resources, whether it's capital, whether it's this skill set, that skill set, and putting it together. That could be something that happens. I don't know if it's feasible, no idea about the regulatory aspect of it, but it's just something that I think, hey, community is improving. People seeking community, people get a lot from community, people are making finally getting profitable by being parts of community, and people are getting entertained by certain communities. And so I think that's going to improve. I think there's going to be another angle to that. Maybe there's an angle I'm missing. What do you think? Where is the next step for retail traders? Do we just go full algo? Nah, I don't think we do. Is there something else I'm not missing? Is it like we have VR or AR? Does that add an enhancement to trading that maybe we don't have already? I know there's kind of started to do that, and you've seen some things, there's these AR glasses on there and it superimposes stuff. You know, is that just an entertainment thing? Do we really need that? Is that going to help us make better trading decisions? Maybe something will come out with that, and maybe it'll be for fun, but I don't know if it's going to help you make more money. So there's this type of things, and also different angles. Like, some people like to be entertained in the market. They're there to be entertained. They hope to make a fortune very quickly and want to be entertained by it, and that's cool. That's a subset. And there's people who want this to be something that's a skill with them for life. They want to work on themselves. They want to work on the craft and make money slowly, maybe making accelerated bursts, but controlled way. And there's everything in between. And so who knows where the industry is going to go. These are just some of my ideas. I would love to hear what you think about where we're headed. Interesting topic. Take care. See you next one. Bye bye.